What's up, jammies? Welcome back to another episode of Ricky's Ram Jam, presented by Barefoot Wine. It's Wine Wednesday. Yeah. The wine is flowing. We had a great win over the Cardinals at Sunday. At home, 26-9. The Rams were on fire the second half, and it was so much fun. Kyron Williams rushed for over $150 and had another touchdown. Christian Roseboom had his first career interception with a cute little synchronized dance in the end zone with the defense. I love seeing that. Cooper Kupp recorded over 100 yards in the first half. What? Cooper Kupp, with help from Nike, will be working closely with the Royal High School football season this year, a school here in LA, spending time with them, helping guide them throughout the season. So exciting to be able to watch that, and the Rams will be there to capture the journey, so make sure you check that out and follow along with that. I talked about the vibes being high on Sunday. We're rolling those in to week 7. The Pittsburgh Steelers travel to SoFi to cap our 3-game homestand, and I'm excited to talk about that with my guest coming up, Will Selva. But before that, quickly, a certified jammy, Simon King at King Sci, tweeted at me this weekend to talk about, hey, Erica, got some name ideas for your Ricky's Ram Jam, / Barefoot Fall collection idea. So here, he gave me 4. Simon, thank you for reaching out. Some of them need work, but some of them I think Barefoot's going to really like. We've got a Fangria. Ooh, spooky. A Howlbeck, like a Malbec. Okay. A Moss Black Cato, like Moscato. That one, I'm sorry, Simon. I don't know if that would make the cut, but I appreciate, you reaching out. And lastly, a Toffee Apple Fruit Scotto. So that's kind of cute. I like those. Barefoot, still waiting to hear what you think about those. We'll work on that as well. Lastly, before I bring in our guest, Will, I talked last week about our flag football team. Unfortunately, we had our last game of the season last night, and we lost miserably. But at least one of us is winning. We beat the Cards. Now we've got Pittsburgh coming to town. Unfortunately, that is the second and last flag football update for me, jammies. I got to get back in the gym, and the off season is time to rework and just get better. It's time to reset. We'll be ready for the next one. All right, it's time now to fill up my Barefoot cup and raise a toast to my guest joining me right now. You know him from Good Morning Football, NFL Network, the El Huddle podcast. It's the one, it's the only Will Selva.
Yo.
I'm flustered.
Why?
Because what don't you do?
I don't chill out like I should, because between everything that I do and then with the kids and the volleyball tournaments and the baseball tournaments, like it doesn't feel like there's any free time at all. And with the season underway, you're just busy all the time. But I like it. It's good to be busy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd rather be busy than bored is what I always say. So when boredom, but then boredom leads to my creativity too. So it's a double-edged sword. So you said, you do Good Morning Football, but you're on the West Coast. What time are you getting to NFL Network? Are you doing it from home? Take me through your sleep schedule. Do you have an app? Do you track your sleep? I'm really into that lately.
Yeah, so for me, what I do is I need to take an hour nap. I can't take a nap that's longer than an hour, because if I do that, then I can't sleep at night. And I normally go to sleep at 7 o'clock. So my nap is from 12:30 to 1:30, and it has to be at that time. It's smack dab in the middle of the day, so it allows me time to at least function the rest of the day. And then I go to bed at 7. I used to, when I first started on Good Morning Football, I would go to bed at 5:30, 6 o'clock. Like my kids would tuck me into bed. So I would get up normally like at 12:45 when the show first started 7 years ago. And then I'd get into work at 2 in the morning. And you see some crazy stuff when you're driving into work at 2 in the morning.
At 2 a.m.
Yes, I swear. I thought I saw Dominic Toretto and the family, with their fluorescent, bottoms of their cars and around a truck. Yeah. I've seen a van on fire. I've seen actually people tagging on the freeway. And then I'm like, oh, why can't I get to work? Well, it's because all the construction is happening at the hour that I go into work, right? Night. So that would always be a weird thing. And sometimes I would just see the same people over and over. Like there was this couple that I would see that I believe that was on Overland, and it'd always be there in this white Cadillac, built like a parade float with the red interior. And this was this couple, and it always made me think, what the hell are they doing at 2:00 in the morning?
What? They're listening to Ricky's Ram Jam with a glass of barefoot wine. That's the best time to listen to Ricky's Ram Jam.
No, absolutely. So now I work from home. And the thing is, I worked out of the garage. It's now been converted into a studio. But when I first started, literally, I'd go out to the garage, and the garage door would go, reek, tick, 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 and I'd go in. And this would be at like 3 in the morning. And it's funny because my dear next door neighbors, this really nice older couple, they said, well, we think you're late. You didn't get in there until 3:10. So they were definitely conscious of it. And then I'd go in there and it wasn't finished at all. So what would happen, it'd be either really hot or really cold in there. And I remember the audio person who would hear the audio, make sure it was all good. He's like, wait a second, are those crickets that are in there that I hear?
You're like, yeah, it's 3 a.m. in LA.
Exactly. So that's why it's now just become such a normal thing. I mean, I'm still kind of in that constant state of fatigue, but when it comes to like all of them in New York, they're like ready to go. They're energetic. They've had their coffee, and they're asking me questions about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and what do I think of Stranger Things, and have you heard the latest from Lil Baby? It's like they throw all these things at me, so I feel like I always have to be ready, and I don't drink coffee. So that's the thing. I don't drink coffee, and neither does my producer. We don't drink coffee because I always feel like it would screw up my system.
Really? Okay, well that's I'm going to sidebar that and bring that back around because that just threw me off my entire game. Yeah, we got to stop the show. We got to turn the lights. Like, this is crazy. Absolutely. So we were talking before we started recording about you being at SoFi and watching, my kids say what videos, which I love. So thank you so much for saying that. So you've been in SoFi, obviously you've been in the vibes. The vibes are high. A game at SoFi is unlike anything else. And Cooper Kupp is back. And so that makes everything just feel so much better. And he's had such an impressive return since returning week 5, 2 games back, 15 catches, 266 yards, and a touchdown. Are you surprised he hasn't skipped a beat?
No, not at all, because before he got hurt, was one of the best route runners that we have seen in recent memory. I'd put him up there with Stephon Diggs and how precise they are with their routes. The question was, what would it do to Puka Nacua? Because Puka Nacua, we all fell in love with him, with his story, coming out of BYU, and just was this fantasy football darling for everybody. And I still think he can thrive. He's definitely not going to get the same volume that Cooper Kupp has gotten, but Cooper Kupp is just a tough guy to cover. And we've seen it time and time again, whether he's coming off of an injury or just in games, he just is like a slippery guy that just constantly is open. Yeah. And that's the reason why he won that Triple Crown. Now, you were talking about the ambiance before. I have been in there, and it is rocking, and it's loud in there. I love the music that they're playing with the DJ. Then they have the mariachis. I'm all about it. I think it's such a fun atmosphere with your videos there as well that it's deafening.
Yeah, I mean, I'm biased, but I think my videos really encapsulate the experience.
Yeah. No, everything else is secondary. Yours is the best. Let's
forget Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford, Aaron Donald.
Yeah, way low.
Who are those? Who are those guys?
Way lower on the list, right? But your videos are great. So overall, I think it's a great environment, and I think Cooper Kupp, he and Matthew Stafford just developed this great synergy, and both of those guys are in the film room a lot. They're real students of the game, and to see this work out so seamlessly, it's been fun, also scary for an opposing team because we saw what happened, especially in that second half against the Cardinals, where the Cardinals were absolutely gassed, and then Sean McVay completely changed the game plan.
Right. Just running the ball down their throats was such an exciting second half. When they came out of that, it was just like, oh my God, let's go. So the energy was awesome. Yeah, you just mentioned it. The dangerous duo of Matthew Stafford and Kupp. You have teams trying to lock that down, which will allow Tutu Atwell and Puka to have more flexibility. Tyler Higbee almost had an amazing snag. last week, which was exciting. So I love to see, like you said, this synergy between the two of them, and it's only week 2, so it's only going to keep getting better.
And also they're facing a Steelers team now who, Patrick Peterson, he's had his issues there as a corner where he's been sometimes exposed. We saw that in week 1 against Brandon Ayuk. And so he's had his rough patches, and now he's facing guys who are really expert route runners, as we mentioned, and fast ones at that, with Atwell as well. And I think that is going to be a challenge for them. Also, like Minkah Fitzpatrick, that's one thing that the Steelers have been wanting to see him get interceptions and what kind of presence he's going to have. He has a ton of tackles, but they don't pay him to be a tackling machine. They pay him to get interceptions. So he's going to have his hands full trying to keep his eyes on Matthew Stafford, because we've also seen Matthew Stafford, he likes to throw those no-look passes that I know Patrick Mahomes gets a lot of the run, but Stafford likes to throw them too.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a little bit of unfortunate running back news. Kyren Williams and Ronnie Rivers both dealing with injuries and are expected to be, quote, out for a little bit. Rookie Zach Evans will likely step in. How important will the play of the Rams O-line be on Sunday versus Pittsburgh?
Huge. They're going to need that because Zach Evans, he hasn't had a lot of time. We don't know how much confidence they have in him because he hasn't had the valuable game experience that you need. And really, if the Rams can follow that script against the Steelers that they did in the second half where they came out running, I mean, Kyren Williams was running angry. The way he was carrying dudes, throwing the forearm shivers and then getting the ball over the pylon, they're going to miss that. He, again, was another fantasy football darling that we all really fell in love with. And with Rivers, he was that a little bit shorter in stature, but so shifty. So there's going to be some pressure on Zach Evans and on this O-line. This O-line, though, has done a really great job. I mean, Steve Avila, we've had him on the podcast before, and such a great guy, but so polished coming out of TCU, right? And I want to somehow get him and Danny Trejo together. I feel it would be an amazing mashup to see those two guys there. So he really fit in well with this O-line. So yeah, they'll be counted upon to deliver. And I think that there may end up being a little bit more skewing to Cooper Kupp like they did in the first half against the Cardinals, given the fact that you will likely have a Zach Evans who's going to be toting the ball. So listen, hopefully Zach Evans will be up for it, but the Steelers, they still have Watt on the other side. They don't have Cam Hayward, but TJ Watt is such a threat and gets after the quarterback, and they really thrive on the takeaways as well, that Steelers defense. So yeah, to your point, that O-line is everything here.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned it, Kyren running angry. You're a big fan of Kyle Brandt, who's a friend of mine as well from our NFL Network days, his angry runs
I think he likes you more than me, though. I think he likes you more than me. He also likes your videos. I
don't know about that. Once Kyren gets right and he's back, do I lobby for him through you for angry runs or directly to Kyle? Like how do I make sure that Kyren gets his scepter? Because he deserves it.
I think you can lobby with KB first, but he's on the Council of Elders, right? And I believe, I'd like to think that I can extinguish a flame or two if I disapprove. But I think think Kyren definitely, he showed himself. Like that run against the Cardinals, that was no joke. I mean, he was a legit candidate. Unfortunately, he did not win it because KB decided to go rogue, and he decided to give not one but 2 scepters to Miami. And that hasn't happened in Angry Run's history. And Kyle literally needed a defibrillator today. I mean, he was gassed. I don't know how he does it, but it's like the oxygen level. I just please, dear Lord, KB, just pace yourself, dude. Pace yourself.
Maybe less coffee. Maybe less coffee.
Maybe. See, now he has the coffee. I don't have the coffee, but he's already naturally like amped up. That's why it's like KB, he always knows all about the pop culture references. And that's why it's like, I always feel like I have to be on my toes. You can ask me about Chumbawamba, and it's like, I got to have something for him.
So what about Aaron Donald wreaking havoc on opposing teams? Like, In what way can he affect the game on Sunday? Of course, that's such a general statement.
Doesn't matter if he's double teamed or if he gets chipped over and over, he still finds a way to get to the quarterback. So we were talking about how the O-line for the Rams has to really step up. That offensive line also has to step up for the Steelers as well. And I also think that Aaron gets up for Pittsburgh anyway because he's a Pitt guy. I think he wants to show out every single time that he's on the field, but he has that extra oomph, that little extra motivation there. No matter what, with Aaron Donald, even if he doesn't get a sack, he's very disruptive like that.
Right. You have to put 3 guys on him at sometimes.
Absolutely. So and we were talking about angry runs. I mean, he's a guy that he just comes at full force and one of the best to do it. And I think that the O-line, boy, just good luck, vaya con Dios, right? I mean, trying to block
Absolutely.
that dude? Not for me.
Oh my gosh, I know. Yeah, last week he threw Josh Dobbs like through center earth. It's a scary sight for sure. So yeah, I'm feeling confident about this upcoming week. I feel like the Rams are really, it's unfortunate with the running back news, but I think it's that next guy up mentality, and this offense is still really, really well oiled to run through this Pittsburgh defense. So I'm
and let's remember that a lot of people were expecting the Rams to be in a rebuild. They thought they were going to have a down year, and Stafford and company, and then now having Kupp, and of course you have Aaron Donald, they've totally defied expectations, and this is a good football team. And Sean McVay seems to be in his element, and that's what a great coach does, who adjusts at halftime, right? And he made the adjustment. He said, you know what? We're going to run the ball out of the half 8 straight times. And then Matthew Stafford ran it a 9th time. So they kept going after the Cardinals that way, and that's the sign of a great coach too. And I think that's where we're going to see a really loud stadium, be amped up, coming off of that big win. And Arizona was playing teams tough. Every opponent they had faced this year so far, they played really, really tough. So I think that the way that the Rams took care of them, I think this bodes well. And we'll see what the offensive identity is going to be for the Steelers, because I think the Rams, they're feeling it right now. They are right now feeling it. I think they got the momentum.
Absolutely. Okay, well, before I let you go, I want to do the Ram Jam, where I ask my guests the same 3 questions, rapid fire style, if you're cool with that.
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
No pressure. It's okay. You got this.
Okay, let's go.
If you were about to have your last meal on Earth, what would it be?
It would be
tonight is the last night.
It would be a chicken burrito with fries in it. So really,
a Cali B.
Cali B is where it's at, baby. I need to have that. And anybody on the East Coast who thinks it's weird, you haven't lived until you had it.
Okay. Done. What about like a drink, a side? Like, are you just doing the Cali B and calling it a day? Or are you doing multiple?
No, I'm going to have one Cali B, and then I'm going to have a Manhattan. Love a Manhattan, because I think you sip it, you enjoy it. You have the Templeton Rye, sweet vermouth. Give it to me on the rocks.
Yes.
I'm into it.
Love that.
Yes.
Perfect. If you could live in an amusement park or a shopping center or an other fun place, where would you choose and why?
I think I would want to live in a place like Golf and Stuff, because I'd love to play the miniature golf. I would like to be on the carts. I'd like to be in the arcade game. I'd like to play whack-a-mole. Whatever it is, I'm all about it.
Keep you busy.
Yeah, like I'm really like one of those dogs. Like, you're trying to get their attention, they're looking around over and over. Like, that's
too
much. So give me that. Give me a night at Golf and Stuff.
Yeah, squirrel. What would a collage of your life include?
My collage would be the Nicaraguan flag. It would be a ASU Sun Devil fork with Walter Cronkite there with me. It would be Blake Shelton. It would be the cast from Good Morning Football, and it'd be my entire family at the beach in Hawaii enjoying the sunset. That's what it would be.
I love that.
Right?
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have a glass of barefoot in your honor today.
Yes.
What an amazing, amazing time. Thank you for making the time. I mean, you don't sleep. You're going all the time. Your energy is amazing. Where can jammies, fans of Ricky's Ram Jam, find you? Not on social. You do the El Huddle podcast.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah. So I honestly have got IG, Twitter, and obviously the podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, download, subscribe, the whole drill here.
The whole
like they do
deal.
here. Yeah. No, I appreciate you having me. This was fun. As soon as you said, hey, Will, do you want to be on? It's like, I didn't want to hesitate. I want to be on. What took you so long?
I know. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for making the time. You are the best. Everybody, I appreciate your insight, and it was so good to see you.
Absolutely. Let's do it again soon.
All right, you guys, that does it for this week's episode of Ricky's Ram Jam. Thanks to Will Selva for his time today. And like I said, make sure you follow him on social and check out his work on NFL Network. All right, Jammies, you know what to do. Let's ram it.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on our videos.